Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today to our Wisdom Wednesday. We have today an important topic, and then we're just going to talk about AI, and we have also here the webinar with Zia Mohi. Today, we're going to talk about AI and automation and some of the risks, some of the things that are important for businesses, what it's coming for us. And also, we have here Gabi, which is our expert on Q&A. So she will be the person taking in charge for your question. Please don't hesitate to ask questions and then just let's go. So, Zia, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Good. Everything good. Gabi, how are you today?
Amazing too. Very happy to be here.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, let's just start about this topic that is, is growing every time, and it's AI and all the implications that it come to businesses, into several different industries, and how it's your input and feedback to those. So the first question that we have for you is, how do you think will AI transform day-to-day businesses operations over the next few years?
I think it's going to completely revolutionize everything that we're doing. And it's something that if you're not paying attention to, investing in, adapting to, and bringing on board, you're going to be left behind. We're seeing that in every industry. It's funny. I went to a McDonald's the other day, and I realized I didn't talk to anybody to get my order. I walked up. You go right in. You put in your order. You walk up front. Food's there waiting for you. And when we look at AI, I mean, don't think of AI as just artificial intelligence. It's really what it is. It's just automation at its finest. Anything that you see that requires less human interaction, less mistakes, that's what AI is. And that's what we're seeing more and more of. If it's something as simple as uh, somebody taking your order at a fast food restaurant, and we're seeing a lot of AI being implemented and invested in major corporations that I think we're going to touch base a little bit later on. But you're going to see a lot of change in the workplace, and it's going to be a lot of change to the workforce. So,
Yeah, and actually, when you talk about restaurants, I remember robotics is also coming to take place to some of the things like you say for McDonald's, for example.
mhm,
The now the flippy robot, the robot that can actually flip the meat, and that's just
mhm,
changing the jobs for the people who are actually doing that. Or
mhm.
even, the person in the counter, now you just have a machine that is right there. And it's definitely going to change the dynamic and also adaptation from people to understand that this is the new way, to how things are going. So what do you think also when we're talking about, there has to be a limit, or how can we actually have some ethical considerations to keep in mind when businesses or in general we are implementing AI solutions? Do you think it'll be also important to have more regulations around AI? How far should we go?
So there's a lot in that question. The first thing when it comes to regulation, the people that would be regulating this don't know anything about it. They don't really truly understand how it works. They just know a name. So to be able to regulate it would be incredibly difficult. When it comes to the ethics and morals, unfortunately, business doesn't really have those. When it comes to morals, it has ethics, but morals, there are really no morals in business. At the end of the day, you can't do something that hurts the business because then the business doesn't exist. So it's a lot of what we're going to see is self-preservation of businesses, and they're going to have to do whatever they have to do to succeed. I mean, one thing that we're seeing right now, and you want to talk about morals and ethics, something that's very uncomfortable and a lot of people don't want to talk about is there's a massive, massive labor strike in the United States, and it's all based on automation. So there's a plant, I believe it's in Alabama, one of the ports in Alabama where they built a whole automated plant to do a lot of the things that people would do, and the labor union is not having any of it. They're like, no, no, it's in their contract. You can't do this. But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. It's all they're doing is they're stalling the inevitable. Automation is going to take over everything. So you either have to get on board or you're going to be left behind. And now this is where the morals comes in and the ethics. Well, ethically, they are breaking their contract a little bit, but what they're also doing is they're increasing paid 50% to anybody that doesn't end up losing their job. So it's kind of like winning a lottery as a longshoreman right now, but it's a very uncomfortable situation. How do you go turn around and as a union person, how do you go back and tell them, hey, we're going to keep your costs of goods high because the cost of the human is high, and thus the supply chain's costs are going to be up, versus the other companies like, hey, listen, we're going to spend $10 million on this factory, but it's going to drive the cost of goods and things down. It's just the future of what we're looking at with us being such a global economy. If we're not going to do it here, somebody else is going to do it, and then we're going to lose. It's a very, very uncomfortable, tricky subject that we're all going to have to address because it's going to affect every one of our lives. Hell, we're doing it here.
That's completely true. And actually, that actually help us to understand too. For example, there's a topic also for AI that it's AI in governance. And actually, the question is who should be making the laws, in terms of what's good for AI and what's not, and who is determined that, for example, a copywriting song, who is the owner of the song, the singer or the robot who created the song? So it's kind of things like who is it? So what are the legal morals here? Who should be receiving, payment actually, for the song? So there's so many implications there. And you're so right. It's just coming. It's definitely coming. So we need to get ready for that.
I agree.
Now, Zia, let's talk about what should we do? What businesses should we do to leverage AI? Definitely without replacing the human jobs, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are scared of these things happening already. And also, there are people really scared that are going to happen in a very exponential level, at the level that actually an actual robot or AI itself will replace an entire job. So, what businesses and what should we do?
So when you ask what should we do, I feel like that's where we can answer that from two aspects. As the business, you need to start investing, exploring AI as much as possible. Instead of going home and watching reality TV, jump on the computer and start looking up AI and then your industry. Start looking at how you can use it. As something as simple as ChatGPT, that's like the very entry level preliminary versions of it. But when you start digging into it and you see all the different softwares now that are compatible to it, we were at a conference the other day and you just plug it into ChatGPT and then ChatGPT talks to a different software and it automatically created an entire slide deck for you. We were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It did it all in like 10 seconds. We're like, oh my God. There was another one where you can create a spreadsheet with all of your questions and ChatGPT will just start answering them for you while you're not even paying attention. You can like load up all your questions, plug them in, come back 20 minutes later, everything's been answered for you in depth, as deep as you want that answer to be. We're like, wow. So what I would tell all businesses or directors of businesses, small business owners, C-levels at companies, you need to start really researching ChatGPT, AI, automation. And I would say before looking to replace your workers, look at enhancing your employees. So if I have somebody that costs me $50,000 a year and they produce $100,000 worth of year of revenues and they're covering themselves, that's fine. But if I'm able to spend $100,000 on a AI tool, that now out of that $50,000 a year employee, I can get $300,000. I've now made this person so much more valuable, not only to the company, but also to himself. So I would say start looking at ways to enhance and supplement your staff. That way you're not replacing them. See how you can build them up. Now at the same time, what do we do as employees? I would tell you almost the exact same thing. Go Google AI and the industry and find out, are you about to get replaced? And if you are, how can you avoid it? And just to put this out there, we are seeing massive layoffs. They're not called layoffs, they're involuntary layoffs. And what I've been reading a lot is companies now are cutting budgets of certain departments and reallocating them to IT, to AI. So well, how are they doing that? We are seeing a lot of Fortune 500 companies, a lot of top level companies stop remote work. Amazon, for one, flat out said, starting next year, you're coming to the office or you're not employed here. So technically it's not a layoff, but they already ran their numbers, and they know X% of people won't be coming back and they won't be getting replaced. That budget is probably going to go to a new AI automation that they're working on. You're going to see a lot of that. There are a lot of big corporations doing that right now, where they're replacing certain departments with AI. So you have to ask yourself, if I'm at home working in IT, how safe is my job? How do I get into the office? How do I get back into the office? You may not want to, but commuting to work is a whole lot better than not working at all.
That's true. And also, Z, I think it's important for people to be or feel that educated in terms of what's coming out there, because everybody's talking about the same topic and nobody knows exactly who to believe. Sure. Or what type of thing to pay attention to. So it's important to also do the homework ourselves and kind of like understand what's going on out there. Like if it's coming, and avoiding it or try to not talk about it is not going to work. Definitely you need to approach the monster that is coming and tame it and be like, okay, this is what is going to happen. How am I going to do it? How am I going to change? Or even sometimes, for example, in marketing, there are so many things that you can already automate from marketing and stuff. And the thing is that, am I going to be the person actually, using the tool to my benefit, or I'm letting the tool use me as a replacement?
Yep.
So it's so important to understand that and to educate ourselves that you have to face the reality instead of avoiding it, because I've seen so many people that when you ask them about AI, they're just like, oh, that doesn't care, or they don't care about it, or that. So it's definitely happening, and I agree totally with you. We need to start thinking, what should we do, for ourselves. Gabby, you were going to say something, right?
No, yes, that I'm totally agree that it's all about balance, and I think the key is to look like AI as a tool and not like they are replacing us. And I think AI can make things more efficient. Like business need to be more intentional about keeping like the human elements that make us unique. Like for example, customer relationships and company culture. It's impossible like AI in one type can manage this.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm totally agree with all this. And now, I think we're going to continue with some Q&A.
Sure.
Yeah, we
Very
do have a lot
interesting.
of
They are
questions.
focused.
Yeah, so go ahead,
I'm
Gabby.
ready.
Yeah. Okay. So here, Pedro says, what kinds of jobs or roles are most likely to be impacted by AI and automation in the staffing industry?
In staffing, I see a lot of recruiters could be getting replaced by AI. And when I say replaced, because they're going to be so augmented, like you're going to be able to get 4 recruiters workload done with 1 recruiter. So you're not going to need a ton of recruiters, because now you're going to get much more. Like you were talking about, Gabby, being more efficient. Your recruiters are going to be more efficient by using AI. You're going to see a lot. So what else? What else really is there? You're going to see a lot of back end stuff get automated. Like for example, with us, like as soon as somebody's hired, we have a whole welcome package that goes out. It's got your offer letter, it's got your direct deposit information, the whole package. The second we say hired in the system, it automatically creates it. So before, that may have been me doing it. That could have been one of our other people doing it, and they have to create a whole package. Cross every T, dot every I, email it out to them. They'd have to sign it, send it back to us. Now it's, as soon as I click submit, as in like this person's been hired, it automatically gets sends out to the contractor or to the employee via like a DocuSign system. They sign it, it automatically gets sent back. Something that would have taken us maybe a couple of days to get wrapped up may take 30 seconds now. So you're going to see a lot of remedial, I hate to use the word remedial, but a lot of lower if it doesn't take a lot of, if it takes more, try to really say this nicely, if it takes a lot more skill to do, you're going to probably keep your job. If it takes a lot more effort to do, that's probably going to get replaced.
But for example, the thing that I said before, when you do something like very operational, yeah, that is like you can automatize, it's easier. But for example, in my case, talking about sales, you need that like part of emotional that the AI doesn't have, you
Mhm.
know? So it's very hard. Like you can have as a tool, but maybe not replace. Some actions can be
Sure.
replaced, but like not all what you do.
So Gabby,
Okay. Another
one, no, go ahead.
Tell me. No, tell me. Go.
So there's actually there was an AI tool that we were looking into, and what it does is it automatically starts calling 10 people at the exact same time. And the way that it works is as soon as it gets somebody answers, the other 9 drop off, and you're automatically connected. So even in sales, BD, everything. And now imagine how long it would take you to make 10 phone calls just to get a voicemail, to get nobody answers. Oh, this person. Now 10 phones start ringing at the exact same time with the way this this AI
No,
bot
and
works.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it because it helps us like to move faster. But imagine then when you are like keeping this relation,
Mm-hmm.
AI isn't useful there. So yes, it helps, but it's not all.
Agreed. Yeah, and I think I see a question in the chat that I'm looking forward to answering. I think it was about how to use automation for taking out the bias in hiring. And when we get to that one,
Yeah.
I look forward to answering that one because
Okay.
there's a lot of fun to that one.
Okay, we're going to move to that one.
Okay, very good.
So, do you think AI can reduce bias in hiring, and what steps can companies take to ensure fair use?
So I feel like bias in hiring is what makes hiring so great. And I would say 50% of what I look for when I hire somebody is a cultural fit. AI can't tell me that. They can't. I need them to sit right across from me. I need to have a conversation with them. I need to take them out for a cup of coffee, maybe lunch, maybe a drink after work. I need to get to know them. Who are they? One of the best ways I get to know people is on the golf course. If I'm stuck in a competitive situation with you for 4 hours, I'm going to know exactly who you are. And that's something that AI can't fix. That's not something AI can do. That's something that you still need the human element, the human touch. So how do I think it can reduce the bias in hiring? I guess, I mean, something as simple as a resume scraper to make sure if I'm looking for 5 years of BD experience, if I'm hiring a salesperson and they don't have sales experience on their resume, maybe that resume never even makes it to my desk. And we have tools like that we use all the time. So it'll definitely help weed out the preliminary resumes, which again, that's a lot of resumes to read sometimes. But at the end of the day, the real bias is going to come in with who you're working with, who you're working for, because they're the one interviewing you. I don't think I'd ever allow AI to interview somebody for me to say yes or no to hired. That'd be a very, very difficult, very different situation for me to work with. I think I need to know the person. Maybe because our company is a little smaller, more like family oriented, to where everybody knows everybody. But it'd be very difficult to hire somebody, have somebody work for you, and you've never met them before. It'd be very, very strange.
Totally. Yeah, it's true. You know what comes to my mind right now, but thinking in marketing, because now I'm using a lot of tools, like for example, creating logos, creating names, like everything that marketing company like does. So it's very like dangerous. I was like, oh, I pay like $5 for this, yes, and I use it. So how is going to like be in a future, like these companies? Because they are so expensive, some of them, and I have like for a lower price all these tools, no? Like to create, for example, my company. I don't need to think in a logo, in a name. I have everything like just in a tool for a lower
Yes.
price.
So
So
that's a
for
lower
example, in
skill.
that case.
So those people would be like a lower skilled position. And you're going to, like we talked about earlier, lower skilled positions are going to get replaced because AI can do it so easily. And you're going to see the more and more companies that show up, it's going to drive the cost down for everything. Like, do you guys, I know you guys are a little bit younger than I am, but do you guys remember when flat screen TVs first came out? They were like $20,000 for like a
Yeah, I
30-inch
do.
TV.
Yeah.
They were absurd because like one company figured it out. It was plasma. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Correct.
Could you imagine what a $20,000 TV would look like today?
Yeah.
Like I just bought an 82-inch TV and it cost me like $1,500. As time goes on and as the technology becomes more prevalent and it's more in use by everybody, you're going to see costs substantially come down, especially on software or technology. It doesn't really cost anything. You know, it's not like I'm building a bridge and I need like metal to build it. I don't need concrete to do any of this. I just need a brain and a computer. A computer costs like $2,000. My brain, depending on the day, can cost $5 or $500,000. I don't know. So that's a lot of it. Don't worry about price right now. Right now, I would say whatever you're trying to do, try to deliver the best of what you can deliver. And I would say if you're really thinking about going deeper and deeper into AI, what I've seen and what I think the future of AI is going to be, who's going to make it, are the ones who become AI architects. That's the person who actually knows how to tell AI what to do. Like I'll give everybody a free $5 lesson. We were at a all-day AI conference last Saturday. And so just ChatGPT, for example, he goes, the guy asked, when you tell ChatGPT something, how many words would you use? I'm like, 10, 15 at the most. He goes, in order to use ChatGPT properly, you have to use over 400 words.
Yeah, that's true. The more, the merrier for the program to understand what actually you are thinking, Yeah.
So and that's just ChatGPT. And we thought ChatGPT is like preschool version of what AI really is. So when you think about that, okay, I know so little about preschool. What's going to happen in first grade? And all I learned was put more in your question. You'll get 1,000 times better response. So we started flirting around with it. We started like, oh, well, look at this. Oh, man. Oh, look how much better this answer is getting. I was like, okay, it's not a Google search. It's not a Google search. That was the biggest thing. I just like whatever I would Google, I would just ChatGPT and you'd get bad answers. Don't do that. Use it properly.
Something very, very weird that I was reading in an article is about ChatGPT, that if you treat it like better, it's going to be like more motivated and it's going to answer like better things. No, like I was like, why? And I try it and it's true. I was like, no, give me more information. Like you are smarter. Like help me with this, and I have better results. But it's so weird. But it's true.
It is a lot of fun, and you can literally tell it anything you want, and it does it. So it is really cool. Just like learn to, and ChatGPT is like nothing. Imagine you're starting to really use an AI tool. Most people out there don't know how to use it. So if you're the one that learns how to use it, if you're the one that almost kind of tells the robot what to do while everybody else has no clue, you're the one that's going to take over. You're the one. I see one of the questions, how do you protect yourself from jobs from AI? Be the one that controls the AI. And I hate to break it to you, if you're scared, oh, I don't think I can do this, you're going to be left behind. The world's changing. We've seen this happen so many times. Like every time we turn around, there's another industry that's getting like just completely dilapidated. And it's going to happen again. This time it's unfortunately going to be in IT, which everybody in IT thought they were safe forever. And then they're like, oh my God, this AI thing came around.
No, but it's hard to think because that question always is scary, but it's true. Suppose I'm a bartender, or like you say, I work in McDonald's, like obviously it's scary. I have to move on or do another thing because obviously I'm very replaceable.
So let me tell you something. In the 1990s, NAFTA came. And when NAFTA showed up, almost everything. My parents were in the T-shirt business. They used to do tourist shirts and wholesale them. And when NAFTA came, my parents used to buy all their shirts, like raw shirts, just a regular basic T-shirt from California, and it cost them about $8 for a dozen. NAFTA comes in and it changed the landscape. Now they were going and buying from Mexico for $3 a dozen. So imagine all the people that were in the California t-shirt business. This is a very small industry, right? I mean, well, it's not a small industry, but this is a very small example. All these people had to find something else to do, you know, and it's gonna continue happening all the time. If you're talking about ethics and morals, what something I would love to see is as people's jobs are becoming obsolete, I would love to see either the employers or the government or somebody step in with some sort of, I hate to say it, but like an education system to where they can learn a trade. They can learn something so they can be reemployable again. Because you're going to see, and the hard part's going to be a lot of these people are going to be in their second half of their lives and they're like, I'm not going to learn something new again. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're in your 50s and you're like, okay, well, AI just took my job. What am I going to do? You got to figure something else out. It'd be nice if there was a program or something that they can put in place that can retrain people to do something different. But on the other hand, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I doing a job that makes a real difference in the economy? For example, if you're a cashier at just period, if you're a cashier, you have a job. That's not a career. That's not anything moving forward. You're going to get replaced. If we continue to not invest in proper education in this country, you're going to see a continuation of people losing jobs to computers and to automation. So be very, very careful in what you study in school. I hear this all the time. I have this art degree. I'm like, that's great. I hope you really love art because that's going to be a tough job. I have a social science degree. I have a this degree, and you're like, and all I think to myself is, I really hope you enjoyed that degree because your possibilities are very limited in the future. Stick to STEM, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Stick to STEM. STEM you will always have some sort of future in because you can do it everywhere. 2+2 is in America, it's in Colombia, it's in all over the world. 2+2 is 4. Mm-hmm. So try to do things that are try to learn skills that are transferable. Try to learn skills that can almost guarantee you some sort of work. And that's why I love the vocations. Anybody that's in vocation, AI is going to be really tough for AI to come get you because if your AC is broken, there's no robot coming to fix your AC. There's no AI that's nobody's going to come and come clear your drain line. If your car has a broken belt, a mechanic is going to fix it. That's a person. I don't see how a robot's going to be able to do that. Not yet. Maybe in the next 10, 15 years, they figure that out too. But
yeah, in the future,
yeah. As of right now, you're fine. I would tell everybody, if you're that concerned, go get yourself a vocation. You'll have a job always. Hell, everybody we're in South Florida. You want to make money, go into AC. It's hot down here. In summertime, you're going to make so much money in the air conditioning business. And by the way, our summer never really ends. We go from summer to spring and back to summer again. So if you're tired of snow, come on down.
Zia and Gabby, thank you so much for your time and for the questions and everything. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media. We are also on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at CTI Staffing. We are going to have another webinar next Wednesday about kindness and empathy in the workplace with Cloud Silver. She is the Chief Heart Officer, right, Gabi? And we are very excited with this topic because it's completely different to what we're doing. And it's about how we should actually be treated in the workplace. And definitely please join us. She is a great speaker as well. And we're very excited to have her. Sia is going to be there too. So please join us. Don't forget to follow us. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.